Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to the Monday edition of Gumball Sports Machine. Happy Monday to all of you. Celebrate. Um, it is a beautiful day outside. I hope you all had a very, very good weekend. As you can see, Kev looks like he had a fantastic weekend.
I went to sleep
Kev,
at 4 in the morning.
what are we doing until 4 o'clock?
I took a nap yesterday and I couldn't fall asleep.
Okay, well, that didn't answer the question. What'd you do until 4 o'clock in the morning?
I was watching a movie and I couldn't fall asleep.
What movie you're watching?
I forgot.
No, I think we're watching some movies we're not supposed to be watching, Nay. Look at that. Little trouble here. D'Lo, how was your weekend?
Pretty good. I just was working, making money.
Oh, you know, uh, so that's something to we adults do have to do. We do have to make a little money. I was doing some of the same. So, but as you guys can see, my two co-hosts, two co-partners, D'Lo and Kev, are very energetic and ready for this Monday.
Hell
Of
no.
Um,
course, of course.
Hell no.
So, well, I'll keep the energy. I'll bring the energy. I'll bring the energy. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Okay. All right. But as every morning,
Mhm.
first segment of the show, we go over the top stories of the weekend in this case, and this segment called Something to Chew On. First up, Mavericks demolish the Boston Celtics in Dallas against at home. Just all the comments. But at home in Dallas beat the Celtics by 38. That is the third worst beating in the finals in history, which also is as a record. Nobody has ever lost by 38 points or more and won the championship in the finals. So there's a good chance that that record will be broken. But D'Lo, what was your reaction to Game 4, and what do you think caused that demolition job from the Mavericks?
You know, Luca finally got on his game. I mean, I don't think there's really much else to say. You see it from the first half statistics. Kyrie and Luca combined for more points than the Celtics, and I think um, in the first half, and that's all that there really is to it. They started, playing a game, started to not worry about officials or any of the other stuff, and they blew them out. They were in control all game, and um, Luca had 25 in the first half and finished with 29 because he got to sit the second half. I mean, he didn't have to do anything. They were up 30 at that point, right? So, um, he should be fresh for game five. If they want to win, they're going to have to do more of the same. Um, but, you know, it just, they played the game.
Kev, what you think?
It falls right into the hands of Celtics in 5 prediction for me. And I did say it live footage as well. Dallas was going to take one of the
I think
games
I
at
think that
home.
footage was deleted.
Well, I know it's still up there in the cloud. But I did say they were going to take one game at home, and I didn't think they would blow them out like that, but they did take a game at home, setting up for Boston to win the title at home, and I think it just falls perfectly because um, I think it was just a game where Luca needed to get to build his confidence back. Kyrie looked like Kyrie out there, and shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. The man actually scored a bucket, actually multiple buckets. So a big shout out to him. I was talking mad smack about him the whole entire series. But no, Dallas came to play. All jokes aside, they came to play and they showed out. There's pretty much nothing else you can say. I mean, winning by 38 is pretty impressive, especially a team like the Boston Celtics. My take from the game is If they want to win the series, they have to keep playing the way that they have to. But I think it's too little, too late. I think they caught fire a little too late because now Boston gets a chance to regroup, but back at home and with the very hostile crowd. So it's gonna be tough for the Dallas Mavericks to even sneak out with a Game 5 win.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from Game 4 was Luca and his complete change of attitude. I mean, the effort you saw him put forth on defense, the very, very, very little jawing at the refs, and then just his involvement with his team. Um, I, you can absolutely see the flip of attitude between Game 3 and Game 4, and you can tell after Game 3 that he was apologetic for for his performance in Game 3 and what he did in fouling out of that game, and really costing his team an opportunity to really be in this series. Yeah, Luca, and we're going to talk about Game 5 tonight, and we're going to look ahead to it and see and talk about what needs to happen in order for either Dallas or Boston to win the game. But yeah, Mavericks played really well. There's really nothing you could say about it. Mavericks absolutely dominated, and we're going to see if they can do the same here tonight.
I will
In
say
game.
one thing that had me dying was there's a post about the Scott Foster post. How
Oh
Adam
yeah,
called in the extender. I was dying, bro. I was like, bro, like that shit had me weak.
I hate Scott Foster more than any referee in sports. He's dude. He needs to go retired. He's terrible. That guy.
Oh man.
Um, next up, this is more so for me. I don't think any of you, either of you, pay attention much to this, but Bryson DeChambeau wins the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open concluded this weekend, or was this weekend, I should say. He came into the day three shots ahead of the next closest player. He struggled a little bit throughout the day. Roy McIlroy stormed back because he was putting so well, which ended up ironically being his downfall. Like I said, Bryson DeChambeau was 3 shots ahead of Roy McIlroy coming into the day. Roy McIlroy stormed back, took the lead, and then bogeyed the 3 of his last 4 shots and really choked his potential U.S. Open victory because he couldn't putt. I mean, he had three putts in his last 4 shots that under 3 feet that he all missed. He in his last 497 attempts and putts under 3 feet or under, he did not miss going into yesterday. And then he missed 3 of probably the most important putts that he's ever shot in his life. So Roy McIlroy sold the bag. Bryson DeChambeau had an amazing bunker shot that set him up perfectly for the win. One of the best shots I've ever seen, especially in U.S. Open or even major championship history. But yeah, Roy McIlroy again really sold the bag. Really did not play well towards the end of the last few holes, and I think that was the biggest story. Maybe of the entire tournament. D'Lo, I kind of saw you nodding your head. Did you watch any of the U.S. Open or no? Are you a golf fan at all?
No, I don't follow golf at all, but like I understand concepts, and so I literally just looked it up. 3 bogeys on 15, 16, and 18 to sell the bag.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
Man.
I mean, just
that sucks. That sucks.
It was really rough. If you're a golf fan, it was really rough to watch, especially if you're a Roy McIlroy fan. That was rough to watch him miss those really, really just gimme putts to really seal the deal, and he wasn't able to. And so Bryson DeChambeau, to his credit, was able to take the victory and let everybody know about it. Kev, I would ask you, but I know you don't watch golf or don't pay any attention to golf.
I mean, I only know only a little bit, but nothing like that. Only because my mom does work at Ping, so that's the only relevancy I have to golf.
So do you know who Roy McIlroy is or Bryson DeChambeau?
I know who he is, but I just didn't watch any of the matches.
Okay. But yeah, no, I want to throw that in there just because I am personally a golf fan. I spent some of my Father's Day with my dad watching the U.S. Open yesterday, so that was nice. But yeah, I definitely did want to bring that up because of how big of a national story
Happy
that
late
has
Father's
been.
Day to all the dads out there too.
Yes, happy Father's Day. Happy Father Day. You all tell your dad that I say happy Father's Day too. Just want to make sure you know
What if
that.
you don't
Anyways,
have dad? Like
I'll be,
like what
moving
if
on.
I'll be your dad. I'll be your dad.
Just
I'll be your
or
dad.
or
you know
even okay. Well,
just
in
just
that case,
depress
tell your
this.
mom. Tell your
Okay,
mom
I
happy
will.
Father's Day in order for because obviously we did not be dad not being around, she has to take on that responsibility. So that
Jamal
changes
loves my
things
mom.
for sure.
Shout
Bro,
out to
your
the
mom's
moms out
amazing,
there.
dude.
Shout out to the moms out there that step up to be the dad figure as well.
Yeah, my dad was kind of the opposite for me. He was kind of filled in both of those traits.
Superhero.
But oh, dude, um, the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky in their second matchup this season. 91-83. Caitlin Clark had a very, very good game. 23 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. She made 3 threes out of her 7 attempts. She played a very good game. Angel Reese had 11 points. She was 4 for 13 from the field, but did have 13 boards. So very dominant on the boards as she usually is. But the biggest story of the game, flagrant foul 1 on Caitlin Clark. And it was it very tough. But here you can determine whether it was a dirty play
Across the
or
head,
not.
and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
Yeah, that's
Foul
right.
Reese is being reviewed for possible upgrade to a flagrant.
Yep, across the head, and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
Yeah, that's
Foul
right.
Reese is being reviewed for possible upgrade to a flagrant.
As you can see, and we're definitely going to get into this more later in the show. It's not, especially in slow motion, does not look very pretty. Looks very, very flagrant. No pun intended, but it was bad. It was bad. Was this? And again, we're going to talk about it more on the show. But Kev, do you believe this was a basketball play?
I think it was a jealousy play. The reason why I say that is because, like, we all three of us, even others as well that's been on the show. I mean, we've all talked about how Caitlin Clark has taken the league by storm. She's brought in a lot more views, like legit almost every single game that like the top games or something they all had something to do with her. So it's all because of her is why WNBA is getting a lot of the praise and views that it's getting. And Angel Reese, saying what she said a comment last couple of episodes ago saying, it's also me as well that they want to watch. So I think it's just the jealousy, and I think it's one in the spotlight as well. And so when you see someone getting a lot more shine than you, it kind of gets to you. So I think for me, in slow motion, it looks like she was going for Caitlin, not the ball. Even though I saw a press conference saying it was a basketball player, and she said some players just get special whistles or something like that. But I think it was just Reese, having some jealousy for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I think the comments she made afterwards kind of lean that way, and the jealousy factor, with the whole whistle comment. But um, maybe this is just me from my basketball experience and playing, and Jamal, maybe you understand this as well. But to me, that's just a basketball play. I mean, she's coming from behind. There's a layup. She's trying to block it out of bounds, and she just happens to clip. And in slow mo, it looks worse than it is. I mean, there is the wind up and everything, but at that point in the game, it's a one possession game. It's a 2 point game, right? And so anything that you can do to get momentum in a game like that, you're going to try and do. And what better way to get momentum than to swat someone into the second row, right? And so for me personally, from what I saw, it just looked like a basketball play that happened to, not go the way as intended. And I think the flagrant one is deserved because she did end up whacking her in the head, right? But to say it was intentional, I can't really agree with it being like a dirty play, if that makes sense.
Jamal, you're muted.
Jamal, you're muted.
That's awkward. But no, yeah, no, I tend to agree with D'Lo. I don't think it was a dirty play. I don't think it was intentional. I do think she was going for the ball. I did watch almost pretty much all of this game. There wasn't really any dirty signs or anything like that, or any intention of um, trying to, like, again, making dirty physical plays. I mean, it was a physical basketball game. The WNBA is a physical game, just like how basketball is supposed to be. But in this case, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was a hard play, and like D'Lo said, it deserved a flagrant 1 foul, not a flagrant 2 because there was no, it wasn't intentional. There was no windup, but it did absolutely deserve a flagrant 1 foul. So. And again, we're going to talk about more about it later in the show. 2 more things. Brandon Ayuk knew this morning, posted a video on social media saying that, well, 49ers don't want him back.
Bro, look in the cam, bro. Look the cam.
He got me vlogging this shit.
Bro, what? What happened, bro? They said they don't want me back. I swear.
Oh my.
That was, of course, Brandon Ayuk and Jaden Daniels on the other end of that phone call. Brandon Ayuk telling him that the 49ers don't want him back. D'Lo, I'm going to let you take off first. As a 49ers fan, I'm not sure if you've seen this video already, but now that I know that you've seen it, how are you feeling about the entire Ayuk versus the 49ers situation?
Listen, man, it sucks. It sucks because I think he's receiver number 1 on the team. No discredit to Debo, but Debo just isn't the natural receiver like Ayuk is, and I don't think that there's any disagreement in that. I'm tired of it. I just wish that we would pay the man because he deserves his money. But I mean, if you look at the talent on the roster, it's just that there's not a whole lot of money to go around. I mean, we're paying Christian McCaffrey and Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and Debo, and here soon we're gonna have to pay Brock Purdy. Trent Williams is getting his money. Hufunga is coming up. So there's just a lot of guys that deserve to be paid, and obviously not everyone can get paid. And I think the drafting of Ricky in the first round kind of symbolized the end for one of the receivers. And considering we had already paid Debo, it was more likely that it would be Brandon Ayuk. So to see the video, it hurts me as a fan, but deep down, I kind of knew it was coming. So I just hope that, we can give him what he wants. If he wants to go to a specific team, we send him there because he's been great in the time that we've had him. So I don't think that, burning the bridges now is like a good idea. Just give him what he wants,
Kev, how are you? What's your reaction to this video?
I have a question for you, D'Lo. Since it is your team, if you were the Niners, who's their GM? Is it John Lynch?
Mm-hmm.
If you were John Lynch, would you rather keep Brandon or would you rather keep Debo?
Me personally, I would rather keep Ayuk at this point. Before, Debo was used as that multi-level threat, is both receiving and running. But ever since Christian McCaffrey came on, we haven't needed him in the run space. So I would rather have the more polished receiver in that sense. But they want to go with Debo, and they need to make a decision on what they want to do.
Yeah, because I was about to say the same thing too. The reason why I would say Brandon and why they should keep him rather than Debo is because Debo's had his past injuries. The play style that he plays, he likes to bang like do those bang plays, and so it's gonna deteriorate your body compared to Ayuk, where he's a pure receiver, and he's also younger too. Debo's like what 27, 28. Ayuk's 24, about to be 25, I believe, or around that age. So he has a couple years on him as well. So I think the smart choice is to keep Ayuk and sign the man, pay the man. But for me, if you guys do let him go, it's gonna be a big loss for you guys because he is a wide receiver too, by all means on your team, but on another team, which is I could say he could be a wide receiver one for over half the teams in the league. He just has the talent. He just has the aura as a wide receiver one. So losing him is going to be detrimental to you guys because he he has been consistent for you guys the whole entire season last season, and for him to just leave you guys like that, it's going to be a big loss and a big hole for you guys. Even though you guys do have talent, the Niners do have talent on that side of the ball, but losing him is going to be a big loss for the Niners, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I love Brandon Ayuk. I love Brandon Ayuk as an ASU guy. I watched him a lot at ASU when Jane Daniels was there, and it was Ayuk, N'Keal Harry, Jane Daniels, Benjamin, all those boys, and they were a fun team to watch. So I'm a big fan of Brandon Ayuk, which means I also want him to get paid. Get paid. I want him to get his money, get his bag, and the even better thing about it. Get him the hell out of the NFC West. Bye. See ya. Sayonara. He every time he plays the Cardinals, he kills them. And for him to get out of the NFC West, I think would be amazing. As a Cardinals fan. So again, I want him to get paid. He's going to get paid. Apparently not by the 49ers. So, but we can look forward to it. Or we can look ahead because again, personally, I look forward to him getting out of the NFC West. Get him out, because that's how good of a receiver Brandon Ayuk is. He is an amazing route runner. He has great hands, and so he's a very good receiver. So yeah, I love Ayuk. He's gonna get paid. I cannot wait for him to get paid, and I also cannot wait for him to get out of the NFC West. But really quickly. I do want to go over this because I saw this morning. Lonzo Ball recently has started a podcast, and on one of the recent episodes of his podcast, he said something very, very interesting that I don't know if a lot of people would agree with.
Where Lonzo Ball has been the best point guard in the NBA.
Most of my seasons, like every time I catch my stride, something go wrong. I ain't gonna cap. Like either I get hurt or that 1 year I was in New Orleans, just COVID came out of nowhere. You look back at that month before COVID.
Hey, when I was watching
you was
him
asking
New
me, I think I'm
Orleans,
the best point guard.
when I was in New Orleans with y'all, he was nice.
Yeah, no,
we was in the nosebleeds, like damn.
And so I looked at the stats, looked at the footage, and during that stretch of games in March, he was averaging 21 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. Shooting percentages look good, 54% from the field goal. Throwing that thing up from 3, making 51%. Averaging more steals than fouls. At least during that stretch, yeah, he might have been. And it's sad because in the moments where he's actually been able to be on the court, injuries aside, he looks like a top 10 most skillful player in the league.
Lonzo Ball says he was the best point guard in the league in 2020 before COVID hit and before he got hurt. Again, really quickly, I do want to get to this final stuff. D'Lo, do you agree with any of what was said in that clip there?
I mean, obviously not. You can't say the best point guard. Obviously, 2020. That's when Steph was out with his injury, so we can't include Steph in this conversation. But that's the year that Dame went crazy, right? And we were all debating on whether he was better. Like he had eclipsed Steph in terms of player-wise, point guard-wise, right? So to say that Lonzo was the best during that year in the league is just false. However, I will say the injuries have made Lonzo so incredibly underrated as a player, and we don't remember how good he actually was. And how good he still is. Obviously, that knee issue has been bothering him for 1.5 years now, almost 2 years since we've seen Lonzo Ball on the court. But when he comes back and he comes back healthy, hopefully, and shows people again like what he does. I think people are going to start to remember that Lonzo Ball is a great basketball player, just not a top point guard in the league player. So
For
What do you
me,
think,
I don't think he was the best, but he was up there for me as one of the best two-way guards before he got before he got hurt. I mean, 21, 8 and 8. That's pretty impressive. For him being known as a playmaker, not an elite scorer. And then people forget when he was on the Bulls, they were the 1 seed before he got hurt too. The 1 seed in the East with like that Bulls team looked like they could have made a deep run in the playoffs that year before he got hurt. Like he has that type of energy that he can bring on both ends of the court. He can facilitate the offense and he can lock up your best guard, even at times a wing as well. Him being 6'6", he has the size to switch on defense as well. But seeing him, going down with injuries in the past, it just prevents him from playing. And for me, I love watching guards that can defend. It just for me, I like defense, and when Lonzo can't play, when he doesn't play, it just makes me very sad because the game of basketball we need more players like him. Because guys like Drew Holiday, guys like Marcus Smart, I love seeing those type of guys play.
Yeah, no, he was very good. And you mentioned his tenure, at least at the beginning of his tenure with Chicago. They, like you said, they were the number 1 seed when he was healthy. When Zach LaVine was healthy, when Debo was healthy, they were all healthy together. They were the number 1 seed in the East. They were a very good team. Definitely was not the best point guard in the league. D'Lo mentioned there was Damian Lillard was still in the league. Steph was hurt, but Steph was still in the league. There was still a lot. Jamal Murray was still in the league. Like he played really well that year. So yeah, again, best point guard, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but he was very good that year, and before his injuries got too bad. So hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping he comes back and he can play well and he's recovered all right. But I don't know, it's a lot of damage, it's a lot of injuries, a lot of surgeries that he's done to his knee. He had to get an entire new PCL, I believe it was, or some part of his knee. So it's gonna be interesting, but. That'll conclude something to chew on. That was a very long something to chew on.
30 minutes.
Yeah, that was very long something to chew on, but that's okay. It was a lot of stuff that happened during the weekend. But mentioned it earlier. Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Game 4 was a demolition job by the Mavericks in Dallas. Beat the Celtics by 38 points. We're up at 1 point by 48 points. So gave them a pretty good beating. Game 5 tonight, 5:30, I believe, on ABC. Kev, what are you looking for? What has to happen for both teams in order for them to win?
For Boston, you need to look at game 4 and see what you did wrong, which is a lot. You didn't play up to your potential like how you did the first 3 games. They look sloppy out there. They look like they took the foot off the gas pedal. Being up 3-0. As Kobe always said, is job finished? Job ain't finished. It ain't done until it's four games in the series. So they need to get their shit together. Excuse me for my language, but they need to come back. Focus themselves on this game 5 tonight, and just look what you did wrong in the previous game and move on from it. It's one game. Hopefully it doesn't kill them the rest of the series, but I think if they bounce back and play the game, the type of energy that they did in the first 3 games, I think they close out the series. And for the Mavericks, just keep the momentum going. You got nothing to lose anymore. And right now you're the underdog, so no one's gonna expect you to win games. No one's gonna expect you to win the series. So just go out, do your thing, and who knows, you could surprise some people.
D'Lo?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the Mavericks. Mavericks in 6, by the way. But no. Luka and Kyrie have to continue doing what they did in Game 4. They came out aggressive. and they put pressure on Boston from the very beginning. Obviously, we talk about Luka had 25 in the first half. Him and Kyrie combined for more points than the Celtics in the first half. And so they have to stay aggressive. And I think the thing that people are under evaluating is the fact that because they were aggressive, it opened up the floor for all of the role players to actually perform, right? Derek Lively had 11, Dante Exum with 10, Tim Hardaway Jr. finally came in and hit some shots. He had 15 off the bench. And so, it opened up the floor for those guys to actually, hit the open shots and make some plays. And so they've got to continue that if they want to see this series go back to Dallas. But on the other side, I mean, I don't even know what happened with Boston. They just looked like they didn't want to play game 4. They just looked like, all right, we'll handle it in a gentleman's sweep. We'll send it back to Dallas. Or to Boston. We want to go win in Boston. So we're just going to give up this game. And that to me make absolutely no sense. When you have Peyton Pritchard off the bench shooting more shots than everybody on the team, something is wrong. Jason Tatum had 15 in the first half and then didn't score again for the rest of the game. Jaylen Brown had 10 points. I think he had 9 in the first half with a free throw in the second. So, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they were just like, okay, this game is lost. We're not going to do anything in the second half. There was no comeback attempt. Like nothing was there. It's like they had no energy to play in game 4. And so they just need to come out like they want to win. And if they don't, they're going to get blown out again and again until they realize that, they need to bring some energy if they want to win. So I think that's the biggest key is that they need to, even if they're not hitting shots, they need to play with some energy, with some pace, and try and get things back on track.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what both of you guys said. For me, I'm going to start with Boston. Boston, Tatum has to have a big game. And no, scratch that. He has to have a huge game. Tatum, can you give me 40? Can you give me 50 in a closeout game? You are an all NBA first team player. You are supposed to be the best player on your team. Can you give me a 40-point game? Can you give me a 50-point game to close this game out? Can you be the best player on the floor to close this team out and to close this finals out for your team? Can you do that for me? We haven't seen you do it the entire playoffs. But I need one game. I need one game out of you. Can you do it? That's what I'm looking for from Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, for whatever reason, whenever he gets to the finals, just shrinks. 2022, he shot 37% from the floor. From the floor. Guess how much he's shooting in 2024 during these finals?
25%.
37%.
Oh.
37%. What you got going on, boss? What do you got? This is the biggest moment of your life. You have the opportunity to close out a championship, and not only for yourself, your first one, but as a franchise, your 18th one to take the lead over the Lakers for most in all history in terms of the NBA. Can you have a big game? Another guy who I expect to have a big game and make probably one of the 2 biggest plays in the game, Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday will make 1 or 2 of the biggest plays of the game. I have no doubt about it in my mind. Whether they're a defensive play, whether it's a big 3, I don't know what exactly it's going to be, but he's going to make a big play. Look for Jrue Holiday to make a big play in this game at some point in time. I'm thinking the fourth quarter. For Dallas, 3 words: Tim Hardaway Jr. Kevin, you mentioned him earlier when you were breaking it down. Tim Hardaway Jr. is part of 3 players who's ever made 5+ threes in one quarter. It's Tim Hardaway Jr., it's Stephen Curry, It's Ray Allen. Can you come out and put on a performance, carry that on into a crucial game 5 in which it's win or go home? Can you come off the bench, help Luka, help Kyrie, and have that same impact you had in game 4 at home? But this time do it on the road. Can you come out? Can you have an impact? Make big shots. Create plays, not for yourself. Because you were the only guy off the bench that could actually create a shot for himself. The only guy. There's nobody else off that bench that can come out and create a shot for himself. Maybe Jaden Hardy, but apparently he's just not getting any playing time.
He's getting like 4 minutes, 5 minutes tonight.
He for whatever reason, he's not playing very much. Tim Hardaway Jr., Luka has to bring out the same effort and the same concentration he brought in game 4. The same effort on defense. Yes, he's not going to stay in front of people all the time, but is he going to have that same effort? Is he going to die for those 50-50 balls? Is he going to jump up for a rebound and make sure he gets it? Is he going to try and slide his feet, give himself 2 defensive slides before help comes around? Are you going to put in that effort? And then if you go down, if you put up a shot, you think you get fouled, or you're going to run back on defense, or you're going to let the referee know that you are going to go to referee school next year and try to become a referee? What are you going to do? Do you want to become a referee, or do you want to play basketball?
Referee school is crazy.
So, are you going to have that same effort that you had in game 4? Those are the biggest things for me. For Dallas, again, Tim Hardaway Jr., can you step up again? Can you bring that same energy you brought off the bench in game 4? And can you even, I don't know, play half of the way that those other 2 guys in that conversation, Ray Allen and Steph, played in the finals? Just a little bit to help out Luka and Kyrie. And Kyrie, dude, what's up with you in Boston? You, for whatever reason, in Boston, you just don't play well. I don't know what the case is up with that. Kyrie needs to play well. Luka and Kyrie both need to have a very big game in order to keep the Mavs in it and competitive. And then Tatum has to have a huge game, 40 or 50 points, and Jrue Holiday is going to make some big plays.
I'm looking more towards Jaylen Brown to have the bigger game than Jason Tatum. I have more faith in this very moment right now that Jaylen Brown will be the one to put up 40 than Jason Tatum at this point. I don't know what's going on with Jason Tatum. I've said it all playoffs. Where has he been? This is supposed to be a top 10 guy, the face of the league kind of guy, and he shrinks. He did it last year. He did it in 2022 once he hit the finals. He's doing it this year. Where is he at? He did it in 2020 in the bubble when they lost to Miami. So where is he at? They lost to Boston or to Milwaukee in 2021. Where is he at? So I think we gotta start looking at Jason Tatum in terms of playoff success. And not regular season, because we know he's good in the regular season. He was 6th in MVP voting this year. We know what he does in the regular season, but he shrinks come playoff time. And I know for you, Jamal, that's a big thing, because you're really big on where are you when it matters. Absolutely. And right now he's nowhere to be found. So again, I look forward to it. I hope he bounces back, but for me personally, I have more faith that Jaylen Brown will have the bigger game than Jason Tatum. So
I'll tell you where Tatum's at right now. He's looking at poses that Kobe did with the trophy, and he's thinking about the best pose on social media. He's like, do I do the one with the sitting down, the jacket and the trophy? All jokes aside, you guys brought up Holiday and Brown, but I have a feeling it's going to be Derek White hitting maybe a clutch 3 or getting a steal on defense to seal the game. Or another guy too, Pingus. They said that he is playing. It looks like he did look pretty good moving around in game 4, but I wasn't sure if he was going to even play. But if he's good game 5, I mean, look for him to have a big game as well. I could see him maybe getting 20 and 10, and that could be huge for the Boston Celtics, especially if Tatum doesn't show up and if Brown maybe struggles a bit. Maybe he bounces back. I have a feeling he might bounce back, but look for Kristaps Porzingis to have another good game like he did in Game 1.
Yeah, who knows if he plays though? I mean, from what it sounded like in Game 4, they're only going to use him situationally if they need him. And who knows if that changes, if he's gotten enough rest at this point to come back and play consistent minutes. But you know, we talked about it before the finals started. His health is the major concern in any Porzingis team. He has the ability to be off the floor on the bench, not healthy. And it sucks because this team has a lot of talent, but if he can't stay healthy, their potential is nowhere near where it should be. And I think we saw it in Game 4. So we'll see. We'll see if they bounce back.
I think Jamal's a little lost right now. Or is he frozen?
Is Jamal frozen? I think he's frozen. All right, guys. I'll be taking over the podcast now. That's right. All right.
You want to text Jamal and let him know he's frozen? He's probably talking right now.
Yeah, hold on. Jamal, dude. Up there he goes.
It's his Wi-Fi, bro. He's got that McDonald's internet.
He's out of here. Well, we were supposed to have a special guest today, but only Jamal knows that special guest and can invite him. I don't have the privilege of doing that, so I guess we wait. There he is.
Well, my internet just took a dump. I don't know what just happened. But we're back. We're back. But D'Lo, you're saying
what?
You're okay. That kind of just put a stick in everything. But
we were talking about special guests, and then you said I could continue. So I don't know what I was supposed to continue because I finished.
because I lagged out and I was like, I don't know what is going on. But with the Celtics, I mean, again, Kevin, you said Derek White. And I mentioned earlier, personally, this game screams Drew Holiday. This game screams Drew Holiday is going to make some type of play to seal the deal for the Celtics. Again, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's a strip on Luka on one of the last plays of the game. Maybe it's a block. Maybe it's whatever it is. Maybe it's a big three or and one. But that's just what he's done throughout his entire career. He's done it this season. He made the biggest play in Indiana series. He got the and one in Game 3 to seal that deal in Game 3. And so, and again, and I seen in the comments, Jesse said the face of the league for Jason Tatum is kind of crazy. Yeah, it absolutely is. Just because
it definitely is.
It absolutely is because Jason Tatum was the guy that you wanted to, that he kind of fit the mold, right? He's a dad. He brings his kids around everywhere. He's a good player. He's a very good basketball player. But to be the face of the league, you got to play. You got to play your best when it absolutely matters the most. Jason Tatum just hasn't done that throughout his entire career. Just has not done that, including this year. They may be in the finals. He's not the biggest reason for that. He's not. So it'll be interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to the game tonight. But definitely, so tomorrow we will definitely be reacting to that to see if Boston takes home their 18th championship or if Luka, Kyrie, and the Dallas Mavericks stay alive for a Game 6 back in Dallas. But last segment of the show, did definitely want to talk about this. Again, we talked about it kind of to a little bit of an extent and something to chew on earlier in the show. Angel Reese, flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. I asked you guys earlier if it was a basketball play. D-Lo and I both said that it was a basketball play. We didn't think it was very dirty. Kev disagreed. He thought it was more jealousy and still kind of envious of Caitlin Clark and her success. And Jesse.
I was going to point it out.
Yeah, Jesse has jokes. That's okay. He's never coming back on the show again. No, just kidding. But so Kev, I want to ask you this question. And actually I want to play this sound first. Because you did mention it. Angel Reese, when she was asked about the Caitlin Clark foul.
I mean, I think we were playing really hard. I think we went up really strong a lot of times, and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle, but
you can imagine those some people being Caitlin Clark in terms of a special whistle. So Kev, you're the one that kind of thought this play was dirty. It was still Angel Reese was still a little bit envious of Caitlin Clark and her success. Do you think there should be disciplinary action for Angel Reese? Do you think there should be suspension? Do you think there should be a fine, something along those lines?
For me, she hasn't done anything that screams danger. Physically on the court, no. Verbally, she said things that some of us may disagree with, and some of us are like, that it didn't need to be said. Her comment about the special whistle thing, that's what caught my attention, because Caitlin Clark, she gets bumped a lot, and a lot of those calls, from what I've seen, are not always called. So I think it's fair game for her and a fair game for everyone else. Now I understand, big name players get a lot more calls than other players. But for me, I just think the comment about the special whistle, that's what got my attention, and that's when I just disagree with what she said.
What do you think, D-Lo?
Yeah,
what was your reaction to her saying that?
Like I said, in the moment, I think it's just a basketball play. I don't see anything dirty about it. There was no super obvious windup. It simply looked like a basketball play going for a block, right? And I mentioned it in something to chew on. Like, it was a close game. It was a 2-point game at that point. And momentum shifts heavily in key moments like that. And so I think in terms of Angel Reese, like, that's what she does, is she rebounds and she plays defense. She's not really, this super multi-level offensive talent, right? So that's her way of making those impact plays. And I don't see it as a dirty play. But the comment, it rubs me the wrong way, because she keeps villainizing herself for whatever reason, and I don't know why she keeps doing it. I mean, it was a flagrant one. It had to be a flagrant one. She got smacked in the head, no contact on the ball, so it's obvious that had to be a flagrant one. And anyone who denies that fact is just wrong. It knows nothing about basketball. But all she had to say was, I was going for a block. I missed. I hit her. That's my bad. And we move on. But this whole, some players have a special whistle, and, she's villainizing herself for no reason. And at this point, I think it is for, the attention. It's kind of hard to believe that it's not for the attention of wanting to put herself up there with the likes of Caitlin Clark. But to me, like, that's all she had to say. That's all she had to do was, I hit her in the head. I was going for a block. That's my bad. But I just want to move on. And, I don't think she's mature enough yet to do that. I think she's stuck in this villain phase of, I want to be the opposite, so that we have this sort of rivalry going. And so, again, she does it to herself. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was dirty. I think it was just a basketball play. And I think it should have been nothing more than that. Is Jamal gone again? That's crazy.
He needs to get a new router.
Dude, oh my lord. Bro, Jamal, if you don't get a router and plug your Ethernet cable into whatever you're streaming on right now,
That is exactly what I'm gonna do starting tomorrow, bro. I don't know what's
oh
going.
my
Bro, the Wi-Fi
lord.
and this is the loft in my house. For whatever reason, the Wi-Fi up here is just terrible. Just
You mean
dumb.
down there? I mean, actually upstairs, huh?
Yeah.
Get an Ethernet cable and plug that shit in.
That is exactly what I'm gonna do because I don't know what.
Are you in the guest room?
No,
He's in the loft.
no, I'm in the loft. Like you know,
Oh.
like when you go upstairs, like you see the stairs, like right there. It's
To
literally
the left?
straight to the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why the Wi-Fi is so bad up here, but
Get it together.
yeah, dude, you're telling me, bro. My God, I don't know what's going on, but Dilo, I don't know. Did you finish saying what you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Villainizing herself. It's just the basketball play. It should have been said and move on.
Yeah. And again, here's the thing with Angel Reese. Again, Dilo, you mentioned it. Attention. What's going on is, I think Angel Reese is not as much jealous as Caitlin Clark on the basketball court as much as she's jealous on the attention that she's getting. What is going on? I hate Jesse so much. I hate Jesse so much.
My bad, go ahead.
You're good. Angel Reese is not nearly as jealous as she is of Caitlin Clark on the basketball court as much as she is off. Because Caitlin Clark, out of all the endorsements that she's getting and all the attention that she's getting, the storyline she's getting. And let me tell you one thing. Caitlin Clark has handled this ridiculously professionally. I cannot give her enough credit for how she's handled this. I mean, and you want to talk about a special whistle? You're absolutely right. She has a special whistle. She is the star in the WNBA. She is it. She is it in the WNBA right now. Just like LeBron has a special whistle. Just like KD has a special whistle. Just like Steph has a special whistle. Caitlin Clark has that same special whistle. Just because it's different genders doesn't mean it changes. That is the star factor in the WNBA right now. And so you want to keep her as healthy as she can so that people come and they want to watch Caitlin Clark. So you're absolutely right. She has a special whistle. You play around that. That's just the way that the game is played. That's just the way the game is played. You play around that. Again, the play in itself, the flagrant foul, I don't believe was intentional. There may have been a little bit of intent, but I don't think it was enough to really like call it a dirty play. I think she was genuinely going after the ball. And again, it's not like Caitlin Clark, she's just getting all this attention because it's nothing. She leads the league in flagrant fouls committed upon. She leads the WNBA. She has 3. That is the most in the WNBA in terms of flagrant fouls committed on her. So again, it's not just white noise that we're making. It is actual, like, Caitlin Clark is being not harassed, but they're being a little extra physical with her because of her name and her stature coming into the league. And
kind of being targeted.
That may be the case. Honestly, may be the case. But again, this is not something new. This happens in the NBA all the time. All the time. Maybe not to the extent because of how drastic an impact Caitlin Clark has made. So we don't realize it as much in the NBA as we are now. But again, yes, she absolutely has a special whistle. Play around it. And stop being envious. Stop being jealous. I mean, Angel Reese had Joker shoes on yesterday. And again, there was a story that I guess the person who makes her shoes doesn't tell her the shoes that he's making until like the day of or the night before or something like that. But you had the choice not to wear them. I'm sure you have multiple shoes you could wear that aren't Joker shoes. And like D'Lo mentioned, painting yourself as the villain. So if you don't want that, don't do things like that. But to her credit, she did speak to the media. And again, whether you call it an excuse, whether you call it whether she's just throwing shade, throwing shots, whatever it is, she did speak to the media. So to her credit, I did kind of get on her a little bit about last time they played the Fever and her not talking to the media. So to her credit, this time she did in fact speak to the media. But again, let's not pretend like this isn't a thing. Again, Caitlin Clark leads the league in flagrant fouls committed upon her. What are we doing here?
I find it crazy how Reese gets attention from the media, from the press conferences, not much with her game. As compared to Caitlin Clark, we don't hear nothing about her press conferences. No. If anything, we hear everything about her on the court. So I think that's the two differences between those two respected players, and maybe it's something that Angel Reese should take notice, because if you want to get known for playing basketball, then get known for that. Don't get known for just being someone that just always talks on the mic.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, Angel Reese is not a bad basketball player. I'm not saying she's not a bad basketball player by any means. It's just, I mean, she's the only rookie right now that currently has 100 points and 100 rebounds. That's very impressive. She's also the only rookie averaging a double-double of her class. The only current rookie averaging a double-double. So again, she's not a bad basketball player. She's a very good basketball player. It's just I wish that the basketball part would be talked about more than whatever else is going on. That's like Kevin said. It seems like sometimes she's seeking for attention. It seems like she's seeking for attention, again, about stuff off the court. Can we stay to the court? Can we stick to what's going on the basketball court?
And it's crazy because I don't know if you guys remember going into the draft, but Paige was supposed to declare for the draft, and last minute she decided to go back to UConn. There was supposed to be a second face because obviously the entire college season was centered around Caitlin Clark and Paige Buchers. It was centered around that.
Oh, hold on. I don't want to forget. She's a freshman, but Juju Watkins was like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So I did want to throw her into that mix.
But in terms of storyline, it was always Caitlin and Paige. It was always that last year, and she was supposed to declare last year, and she wanted to go back to UConn for her last year. She wants to compete for a national title. I don't blame her, but could you imagine, Paige declaring? There would be even less publicity for Angel Reese. How would that affect it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just something else that I wanted to throw in there because, again, I thought she was going to declare. I thought it was going to be Caitlin and Paige going at it for their rookie years in the WNBA, and it's not. And so Angel Reese is kind of, I don't want to say taking it upon herself, but taking it upon herself to be that step-up player to compete with Caitlin, and she's doing it of her own will instead of how it was in college with Caitlin and Paige, where it was natural. It happened. They were basketball players. This seems like something more, and it shouldn't be, but Angel is making it something more. And I think that's where my problem comes in.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the thing is, why is nobody talking about Cameron Brink? Cameron Brink is never mentioned. She was the second overall pick in the draft for a reason. Nobody ever mentions Cameron Brink. Now, maybe she's not having the season that obviously Caitlin Clark and possibly Angel Reese is having. Angel Reese, again, is having a pretty good season. She's just not very efficient from the field. So, again, Jesse said, when she scores, it looks like an accident. But again, she's not a bad basketball player to any extent. I don't want it to sound like that. It's just I wish the attention was more on her playing basketball, other than what she says off the court. But that is going to wrap up today's show. Kev, did you have anything to stay on that last topic? No? All good? Okay. That's going to wrap up today's show. It's a good show. It was a great show. There was a lot to cover going from the weekend. Tonight, Game 5 of the NBA Finals. I believe 5:30 start. I believe it's a 5:30 p.m. start. We will definitely react to that tomorrow. Again, will Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics bring home an 18th championship to Boston, or will Luka and Kyrie fight it for another day and go back to Dallas for Game 6? We'll find out tomorrow. Lots of more reaction. Also, before I get out of here, my Twitch. I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch.
Man, he's becoming a YouTuber, streamer.
Hey,
get this guy out of here.
I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch more consistently on a consistent basis. Playing the game, Madden, MLB, 2K, College Football 25 when it comes out next month for sure.
Can't play 2K. 2K is so bad.
2K is pretty bad, but it's
terrible.
Oh, Jesse thinks he's going to be on the show after that Anthony Edwards comment.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yo, really? Look at that. How about no, brother? You watch your mouth when you talk about the Suns. No, Jesse will probably be on tomorrow.
They said Giannis is better than Booker.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, definitely not coming on tomorrow after that. Definitely not coming on tomorrow. But no, Jesse will probably be on tomorrow. I don't know, maybe for a segment, maybe for the whole show, we'll see, to react to Game 5 of the NBA Finals. But let me finally close it out. Let me get out of here because I for whatever reason, I would just take forever to close out the show. But for D'Lo, for Kev, for yours truly, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., same time. And we're out. Deuce.